My name is Dr. Brian Clark. I am an assistant professor in recreation and park administration at EKU. Leave No Trace is a nonprofit organization based in Boulder, Colorado, and they kind of focus on minimizing environmental impact specifically as it relates to outdoor recreation. So there's 7 Leave No Trace principles. You got to plan ahead and prepare, travel and camp on durable surfaces, dispose of waste properly, leave what you find, minimize campfire impacts, respect wildlife, and be considerate of other visitors. So the first one, plan ahead and prepare. That's really kind of relating to, knowing where you're going, knowing the rules and regulations of that area, making sure that you have packed the appropriate equipment, you've reserved campsites, or you know where you're going to camp. If there's a fire ban for fire, and all those things. Repackaging your food potentially too, trying to minimize that impact as far as how much stuff you're bringing in. So that kind of covers plan ahead and prepare. Travel and camp on durable surfaces. We're looking at, traveling on trail, and if you're traveling on trail, going single file. If you travel off trail or off designated trails, spread out that to lessen that impact. And camping, looking for durable surfaces, whether you're traveling on trail or off trail, but camping, also selecting a campsite. And there's a saying, a good campsite is found, not made. There's a good chance that folks have been to the places that you're going to and trying to find those established campsites or places that are been used. And making sure that you're camping 200 feet away from a trailhead or any trails that may be around the campsites. Dispose of waste properly. That usually is the pack it in, pack it out thought. And some folks say pack it in, pack it out, and that's not actually a principle, but it relates to dispose of waste properly. And really in 2 categories is what I'm thinking about with dispose of waste properly. You're thinking about human waste and then actual trash. So human waste, making sure we're 200 feet from water, campsites, all that good stuff. And human waste, you're digging a cat hole to bury that human waste, 6 to 8 inches deep, something like that, and burying that, and again, 200 feet away from trailheads, campsites, water sources, all that stuff. The trash, just making sure that you're packing everything that you brought in, trash-wise, you're taking that with you. Even when it comes down to cooking and a little bit of food scraps that might fall out of the bowl, whatnot, just trying to be very mindful of taking all that trash out and really being mindful of leaving a place better than you found it. So if there's trash at a place that wasn't yours, go ahead and do the right thing and take that out. So leave it better than you found it. Leave what you find is the 4th one. And that's really relating to, leaving the areas as they are, not taking something for you to put on your shelf at home. Leaving those natural areas as natural as we can and lessening that impact that we have. So, don't take a leaf or anything, leaving those environments for the animals to be able to use that in the natural state. So minimize campfire impacts is really, one, going back to the first, plan ahead and prepare, knowing whether you can even have a campfire in the areas that you're visiting. And also just knowing that it's not as important as it used to be, way back when you actually needed to cook on a campfire and you needed to use a campfire for heat source, for warmth. Hopefully you've planned accordingly, that you have a lightweight backpacking stove if you're backpacking, and hopefully you have the appropriate clothing and attire that you're going to be able to stay warm and not depend on that campfire. So really it turns into a social component where folks like to have a campfire, like to stand around the campfire. And just being mindful of that and knowing that, if you're not needing a campfire and it's a social thing, there's alternatives that you can use. You can use a candle. They have some lightweight candles that you can put inside of the fire ring. If there's already an established fire ring, you can put some headlamps inside of some Tupperware and kind of have that same atmosphere that a fire could create, but it's an alternative to burning those resources that you have around the area. So respect wildlife is really not getting too close to animals that you may see. They have the thumb rule that you can kind of hold a thumb up, and if it covers most of the animal, then you're at a good distance. If you can see any of the animal, then you're probably too close. So being mindful that, hey, we're in their environment, we're in their homes, we're a guest in their home, and just respecting that and staying back, keeping distance. And it could even relate to hanging and properly taking care of your food. Bear bagging and bear country, all that stuff, using appropriate canisters and different things that are bear proof, so the animals don't get into your food. The saying, a fed bear is a dead bear. So if they're getting into your food, whether you are feeding them or accidentally they're getting into it, they're probably going to be put down. good chance of them being put down. So making sure that you're respecting wildlife by taking care of your stuff too. Be considerate of other visitors, I think, is the last one I have. So thinking about, this may be the one time or several times that you're getting out into this area, there's a good chance that there's other folks in those areas too, and knowing that other people are going to be there, just respecting their experience. So let nature's sounds prevail. Try not to be loud, try not to make loud noises, especially as it relates to outdoor recreation and specific activities. Climbing pops in my head right away, thinking about rock climbing and screaming and trying so hard on a rock climb. Just being mindful of those noises that you're making. It's going to impact not only the animals around, but it's going to impact other folks that are choosing to recreate in the same area that you are. Why is Leave No Trace important? I think it really comes down to most folks that go to these areas, these natural areas, really love these areas and love getting out and doing different activities, hiking, backpacking, whatever your activity may be. And knowing that these areas are important to protect and to just do the right things. So, minimizing your impact again, and hopefully leading to not having more closures, because we're seeing more closures. We're seeing so many visitors to these areas that a lot of times, you have to be even more mindful of the impacts that you're leaving to keep those places open. So really, Leave No Trace is important on many levels, but really it comes down to, if you want to have these opportunities to get out and to enjoy nature and to do these outdoor activities, we have to do it in a certain way for it to be sustainable, to keep those areas open and accessible for not only us, but our kids and future generations down the road.